Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today I want to do another Did You Know style of video for Rainbow Six Siege. The Dustline DLC has introduced a lot of small, subtle changes across the board, and one thing that I was not expecting, but has been a very pleasant surprise, is that Sledge's hammer has seen a bit of an upgrade. Before this patch, Sledge was very ineffective at opening up floors. Every single time that you would slam that hammer down, it would open up the first wood panel, but because the steel beams blocked the second panel, you would never actually get view into the objective below you. That has changed significantly. Sledge, in my eyes, has turned into easily the best operator at just opening up as many different lines of sight onto an objective room. If it could be a wall, it could be the ceiling, it could be anywhere. Sledge is now going to be able to allow your team a million different ways at shooting at the enemy, and I could not be happier about this. And honestly, I'm hoping that more people take advantage of this tactic. I'm really surprised that when someone's on offense and they're trying to breach into objective, that they don't open up as many holes as they possibly can. When I'm on defense and I'm trying to cover as many angles as I possibly can, and the enemy starts to open up the roof above me, I start to panic. There's only so many angles that you can feasibly cover as one player, and so effectively what this tactic does is that either they just kind of have to accept that they're gonna get shot from a different angle that they can't watch, kind of hope and pray that when they do see an enemy or they do come in conflict with someone, that it is the angle that they're watching, or they have to move into another room that isn't the objective and isn't that prime defensive location. This opens up way more possibilities for the attacking team to take advantage of that. And so in my opinion, I love this small subtle change that they made to Sledge. Admittedly, I was a little worried that he was going to become obsolete with this most recent update because of all the upgrades that they've made to Buck. The fact that Buck's shotgun is more destructible when it comes to surfaces, the fact that he's now gotten frag grenades, I was thinking that Buck was all of a sudden going to become the preferred operator of choice for that type of gameplay, and while Buck still is amazing, the fact that they have made this subtle change really has solidified Sledge as being the best operator at opening up as many holes as you possibly can around the map, and I could not be happier. The next thing that I wish I could say that I discovered on my own, but was actually pointed out by one of my subscribers named Raged Furious, is one of the most disgusting camping spots on the new map border. If you're in the archive room, you can actually make your way onto the bookshelves themselves. It can be a little tricky, and I don't know exactly if this was intended by Ubisoft, but if you angle yourself right and you jump at the right time, you can make your way all the way up to the top of this bookshelf. Now, what makes this spot such a doozy is that not only is the enemy not going to expect you to be this high, so you're probably going to get the advantage there, you're going to get the drop on them, but also there is this gigantic opening above the wall that gives you access to the other adjacent rooms around it. You guys can see my reaction the first time that I discovered this is a possibility in the left-hand corner. Like, I cannot believe how amazing this spot is because the enemy has no idea that you're there, and you're able to cover an insane amount of angles from this one location. Now, the downside of this spot, of course, is that you are fairly exposed. If the enemy scouts you out with a drone, or they call out to their teammate after they died that you're in this location, they are going to have an advantage over you, but as long as you're observant and you watch out for the drones and you just make sure that you're not staying up there the entire round, you can get a couple easy kills that way. You're going to catch the enemy by surprise, and it's going to be very, very satisfying. The next thing is that did you know that IQ's upgraded gadget can't actually see the outline of Pulse's heartbeat monitor? The first time that I discovered this, I learned the hard way because I was roaming around the map. I saw that there was a blinking circle out in the distance, but I just assumed that it was another gadget. I didn't actually make the connection at the time that I didn't notice that there wasn't an outline of said gadget. So normally when you look through the wall and you see Mute's jammer, for example, you can clearly see the jammer with this most recent update. You can see the camera out in the distance. That's not true with Pulse's heartbeat monitor. And so if you do see that blue blinking circle out in the distance and it's not moving, just know that it is a Pulse. Don't make my same mistake. I round the corner thinking that I was safe, but then of course Pulse just kind of put a shotgun directly into my skull and I immediately died. And so while it's not the biggest change, it is something that you do need to be aware of. Another thing that I wasn't aware of is that did you know that you can shoot through the seats on the plane map? Now, I don't know if this was changed recently, but for the longest time, I thought that these seats were impenetrable. I thought that if I sat behind them, the enemy either had to flank around or I needed to pop my head out if they wanted to get a direct shot on me. That's not actually the case. The thing is, though, though, is that it is a little wonky. Here is a clear demonstration. There are multiple times where I am shooting directly at level cap here. He's playing as Pulse, and I don't do any damage. But then I aim a little bit higher, and I get a headshot on him. And so, while it is finicky, I just want to let you guys know that it is absolutely possible to shoot through these seeds. And so, if you're on offense, on defense, just take that into consideration when you do get into your next firefights. The last tip that I have for you guys today revolves around Blackbeard. This guy's biggest weakness right now is that he is very immobile. If you need to move from point A to point B because you're exposed, you're gonna have a hard time doing so if you have the shield at the end of your rifle. Now, instead of taking off and going through that lengthy animation of taking off the shield and then placing it back on when you do get into the spot that you want to be in, just switch on over to your pistol. Yeah, the downside is that if an enemy does kind of peek his head out from around the corner, you're using a pistol instead of your assault rifle, but at least you're a hell of a lot faster. At the start of the round, basically what I do is I place my shield on, and then I switch on over to my pistol and then run towards the objective. If I ever get into a spot where I realize the enemy might be peeking their head on, I'll then switch on over to my assault rifle, not needing to go through any animation other than just switching my weapon. And so if you are playing as this guy and you need a little bit of burst of speed, I highly recommend that you employ this little tactic. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Did You Know? I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you've discovered anything with this most recent Dustline DLC, let everyone know down below. I always say this, but I'm constantly learning things new every single day in this game, and so if there's something new with this patch that you think is worth noting, let everyone know down below in the comments. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.